Welcome back, viewers, to East Manchester Experiment. We have a couple of games for you today. We have Ashton Town, the top of the table clash, and it's close. We are 3 points behind. Our goal difference means that we will not go top if we win today, but it will be much closer, and clearly that is the goal. We also have a debutant today. Sean Williams is going to have his first game. He looks to me like a pretty good player. He's very, very solid. If you look at all the ones that matter here, tackling slightly iffy, but other than that, everything here looks pretty impressive, and I am pretty confident that he will do a good job for us. Central midfield has been a good position for us, but recently some of these players, Jack Leask and Sam Joyce in particular, have just lost a little bit of form, and I felt that a little bit of competition would be good there. I'm still looking at central defence. I'm struggling at the moment with my central defence. I've got Kyle Watkins, who shouldn't be a good player there. He seems to be doing a decent job, but he shouldn't be that good. And Stephen Ward, who we've got in quite recently, he's not that great. He's obviously a young player. Nice mentals here that mean that he should improve, and you can see some lots of green arrows here, which mean he is improving, but I'm not sure how good he's ever going to be. So this is the team we had to play today. We just have a quick look at our form for recent weeks. We're on pretty good form, I would say. The last game you saw was, of course, backup here after the Oswestry Town game, which was a great win. And we're going to have the Ashton Town game today at the top of the league, and then this game against AFC Blackpool in the League Cup quarter-final. But as you can see, we took on AFC Blackpool not very long ago, just 2 weeks ago. It was a 0-0 draw in the league. Slightly disappointing result, but we had plenty of shots, we had plenty of chances. We even had one clear-cut chance where we could have won that game in theory. It was just one of those days where it just didn't quite break for us. As you can see, nobody was particularly outstanding. Kyle Watkins, nice, solid in defence, but really not a huge amount going for them in terms of creativity. So that will be certainly something I need to improve on in the cup game of that fixture. But here we go then with the Ashton Town game. I think a win here, and I would start to feel quite confident about my promotion chances. We'd be level on points. Having beaten them at that point. We did lose to them earlier in the season, but that hopefully will give our players plenty of confidence, and we can start thinking about pushing up in towards the next league. It's time to start improving our form because we're behind them at the moment. Third in the form table as opposed to first. It's not bad, but we should really be top of the table now. I think we are. I feel that we're the best team by a bit of a distance. We need to start proving that. So here we are. We are underway at Ashton Town. Been a cagey start so far. There haven't been any highlights at all. We are clearly going on cautious for this game. I obviously want to play it tight, try not to get too drawn into to pushing up too high. And here we go, and Wafula, really great goal. I'm not sure if I've talked about this guy. It was a new right winger I got in recently. He had a decent start. He's dropped off a little bit. I think those first goals came in the first couple of first three games perhaps. If you just go onto his form, you can see he scored 2 goals in his first 3 games, and the last 2 have been a little bit of a drop-off. But he looks like a real player, and a good goal here from a lovely ball through from Jack Gurney. So that's an excellent start to the game, and as you can see, that puts us level on points with Ashton Town. That would be a really top result. And Wafala's down the right wing here. Crosses the ball in, but it gets a deflection, goes for a corner. You may have noticed I've turned the speed down a little bit. I realised that it was just happening too quickly for me to commentate on, and that's presumably why some of my commentary has been a bit iffy. Hopefully that should improve from now on, and of course I will leave it on that setting for future videos as well. Oh, it's a lovely ball from Williams, and Mills is in. Mills scores! Takes him 2 attempts, but from that rebound, great goal. Good save from Newton originally, but Mills quick enough to react to the save and puts the ball into the back of the net. 2-0 up in our title rivals' backyard. What a start. And Wafula picks it up on the way. Oh, great through ball into Mills again. Mills, and he scored again. Very similar goal, except this time the keeper cannot save it. Really good shot there from Mills, and we have Mills bang in form now. Really good start to the game. 2 goals in 2 minutes. A really good end to that half. 2 goals in 2 minutes for Mills. and that is really, really impressive. Fantastic start for the boys. 3-0 up, and the game is effectively over. Decided to go on attacking now. I feel it's worth the risk here because if we can get a few more goals, the boost it would get if we can get a couple more goals and go on top of the league might be really crucial for the team going forward. It's not so much that it matters at this stage of the season, but for our team and their mental attitude at the moment, I think it could be a big, big result. What's just happened there? I've missed something, and we've lost a player. Sean Williams has been sent off. This is on his debut, isn't he? He's been sent off on his debut. Yes, Sean Williams sent off on his debut. At least we're 3-0 up. If he'd been sent off on his debut and we'd been at 2-2, I'd been really upset. So Sam Joyce is going to have to come on. We'll have Ryan Brook come off. Sam Joyce back onto here. Mills into the middle. We'll carry on from that. Okay, we've scored again. It was one of those goals I wasn't really expecting, but I wanted to talk you through it because watch what happens here. Ashton have the ball, but look at the pressing that goes on at this point. This point onwards, watch this. Dickinson has the ball, Elsett has the ball, Ayo. Every time they have the ball, someone's pressing, someone's on them. They cannot get out. McCann's closed down. Every time they have the ball, they just don't have the space. And this is why, because you're going to see in a moment that this is the mistake we were waiting for. And Mills is in for a fourth goal, and we are absolutely rampant. And as you can see, East Manchester now top of the league, admittedly on goals scored, but top of the league midway through, well, not a bit more than midway through the season. What a fantastic result this has been. We really have been absolutely all over them. I know we were 3-0 up when we went down to 10 men, but to win away to your title rivals 5-0 with 10 men for a third of the game really is quite something. I'm really impressed with this. What a performance. And how do you really do a team talk for this? It just doesn't get better in terms of performances. I mean, I could say, well done lads, your performance is taking your us to the top of the table, but it's better than that really. They are happy, which is great to see, and fantastic to see a wonderful display there by Wafula, who was really, really effective certainly, and he may be getting worse because he's at a club with very poor coaching for the kind of level he perhaps is, but he's doing a great job for us, and hopefully the Kenyan can keep doing what he's doing. Ben Mills, 4 goals. What can you say about this guy? 20 goals this season now, and it's only January. Doesn't get much better than that. Right, so I will be back with you for the AFC Blackpool game, which is in, I think, about 10 days' time in the League Cup, which obviously for different reasons is a very, very big game. Although now, unlike earlier in the season where I wasn't sure that promotion was really on the cards, I now see it as something that we really should be getting. So although the Cup game is certainly very important, I do feel like it's slightly less important than it perhaps might have been before, although of course if we want to be able to spend in the after the promotion so that we can improve the squad, we are going to need to get the money that it will provide, because we're not going to get much from the league. I'll get back to you once we get to that game. So here we are at the next round of the North West Counties League Cup. I believe it's the quarter-final stage, correct? Quarter-final against AFC Blackpool. As you can see, overwhelming favourites, and the part of that is because of a bit of an improvement recently in my form. As you can see, I'm really going through a bit of a good run here. We obviously had the Ashton Town win 2 games ago, and that really is extending this nice long run of games that we're having where things are improving. The other reason, I think, is because we have started to improve our defence finally. It was improving anyway, but the last couple of days we've got a couple of good centre-backs in to just give us a little bit more depth and a little bit more strength. Nat Carr is the first one I'm going to show you. He is 32 years old, so he's a short-term solution, but I think he's a short-term solution who's going to be a very good improvement. As you can see, the technical ability he has, combined with his age and experience, means hopefully he will be able to shepherd that defence. He's a bit of a gnarly old centre-back who is he's got the 16 aggression. He's pretty strong for this level. He works hard. He's not brilliant mentally. He'll probably get a lot of yellow cards, I imagine, and make all sorts of silly mistakes. But the basic defensive elements of his game should be strong enough to actually push us forward. The other one I want to talk about is Stephen Ward, who'd been around for a little while. I think I signed him a little earlier in the season. Let me just check a date. He's been around since the start of the season, but he hadn't really been playing. So I brought him into the squad. I'm not really sure why my assistants rate him so low, because he's made a really good start. As you can see, pretty good mentals here. The physicals are absolutely fine. Technicals are a little lacking, and clearly that's a problem, but at this level perhaps less so. Because as you can see, he's actually come in and done really, really well. 7.24 average rating over the first 5 games. He's been playing mostly, so far at least, with who was he playing with Kyle Watkins, who is still doing well. And if it weren't for the new signing I just made, he would be playing today for sure. But I just felt that he was probably the player to give way today, on the basis that he's perhaps not been quite as impressive, and certainly his attributes aren't as impressive as some of the others. That said, I think I am going to have him on the bench. So other than that, the team hasn't changed a huge amount. The defence, as I say, is improving with Grayson on the left back, which was the problem position for so long, and Owen Gamble really starting to make the right back slot his own, despite pressure from Elliot Legg. The rest of the team, though, is getting stronger and stronger by the day. As you can see, lots of green here, lots of very, very impressive performances. Sam Joyce obviously has a lower form recently. He's just coming back into the team now. I think it's his first game for a little while, so hopefully that can be turned around and he can start looking good again. We're going to go and see what happens now against AFC Blackpool. The last time we played them was on the 11th of January. We saw a 0-0 draw. A rather dull game this was, and that's obviously something we're going to have to better this time. But in the league, thanks to those results, things are looking pretty rosy. We are level on points with Ashton Town, 5 points clear of St Helens Town, and a further 6 points clear of Backup. So hopefully we are looking certainly at the top 3 finish. And I would hope now, given that our improvement through the season, we should really be looking at winning this title. Off we go. We're at home this time. AFC Blackpool, the opponents. Gamble has the throw into Wafula. Gurney can get that ball, Gurney, and he has. And Bahalu has the ball on the far side. Wafula, great goal, a lovely cross again by Bahalu, sorry. He really has made a great impact on this team, Bahalu, over the last couple of years. It's been probably the best signing I've made so far. Huge number of very, very good crosses and a very high assist ratio as well. So, as you can see, it wasn't so many last year, but 4 in 10 games is not bad at all. He's got 10 assists now in 24 games, which is very, very impressive, and he'll have far, far more pre-assists with those great crosses that he's getting, even if it's sometimes via a knockdown. So we're on the attack again with Wafula, who's also been a good signing on the right wing. Gurney to Joyce, defending well there from AFC Blackpool, but we are looking like we are taking control of this game, and hopefully this is going to be the next round of the League Cup fairly solidly. But here we go with Darky, and he's through, and it's a fantastic double save there. What a double save there. You missed a few very exciting moments here through a recording error. The first one was when Darley was clearly pulled back by Carr and judged to be a denial of a goal scoring opportunity, I can only assume. Either that or it was a really, really bad tackle in that position. It's not really a red card that we should be getting. As you can see, Carr is about to be sent off. But within seconds of that happening, I'll show you. This is in real time. The ball was played in and cleared to Wafula, who took the ball. He ran wide with it, and he ran further. You know what's going to happen here. You can tell. And Wafula put a cross in, and of course Mills was on the end to slot through. Not sure what the goalkeeper was doing. Don't really care. 2-0 up. Maybe it won't matter that we're down to 10 men. Wood puts Mills through. Mills is through on goal again, and he's missed twice. Vias with 2 saves there from Mills. Usually so reliable, and he's already got 1 goal, of course, in this game just 5 minutes before, and he can't put it away on that occasion. Probably an easier chance than the goal he scored, I imagine. And that takes us to half time. It's been a very dominant performance. Probably could have been 3 or 4 up, despite being down to 10 men. This is really impressive piece of work. And it is amazing that earlier in the season we were talking about how we were struggling against people in our league, and so the step up might be quite hard. And here I am now, really blowing teams away in the League Cup. Admittedly still in our league, but it's a really, really big step up in terms of the quality of some of these performances. And we haven't really looked particularly threatened too often. Here's Wafula on the right wing. Can he make something happen? He's certainly had a good game so far, as both the wingers have been recently. Great ball in for Mills again. That a penalty? It looks like it will be. It is. Mills gets the penalty. Looks like he's going to take it as well. Good. And Mills to step up for what would be, I think, his hat-trick. No, of course not. Mills to step up for his second goal of the game, and he puts the keeper the wrong way. It's 3-0. And there is no doubt whatsoever now in my mind we are going through to the next round, and the only question in my mind right now is for how long can Ben Mills keep banging in the goals. He's only 18, his mentals aren't great, which suggests he may not get as much better as I would like, but for the moment I reckon at least a couple more years of use out of this guy. I think even my coaches, who are admittedly not massively reliable, think he has the potential to be a Northern Premier League player in the future, and that's several tiers above me, I believe. So really, really hoping that this is a guy for the next few years at the very least. Sunpot whips the ball into Holmes, and John Holmes has got a goal back for AFC Blackpool. Not great defending there, really. We should have been a bit tighter to our men, I think, to stop that from happening. We've got several players around him, and yet still he was able to steal in and get that hopefully consolation goal, although we've got to be a little bit careful here. I'll make a couple of substitutions just to try and see this out. Jack Leach at least coming on for Jack Gurney. And that'll do for now. We might make another substitution in 5 minutes, I think. Okay, I'll let it go a little bit longer. We've got 12 minutes to go now. Just trying to think about how I can let this match play out. I'll take Grayson off, I think, because there's not a huge amount I can do tactically, and I don't particularly want to change her shape. All I'm looking to do really is just ensure I've got the freshest legs possible on the pitch at the moment. So Finn Darville's going to come on for George Grayson. And here Bahalli's got the ball. Can he put it beyond doubt? Back to Darville. Back to Wood. Build-up's a little bit slow here. We just need to find that killer pass. Bahalli's often the player to find that. Can Joyce do it? Back to Bahalli. Mills is waiting in the middle for that hat-trick. Patient build-up. Joyce again. Bahalli. Get it to Mills. Just get it to Mills. For goodness sake, he's there. Get it to Mills. Get it to Mills. No, don't shoot. Mills, can he get to the rebound? He can't quite. And Bahalli can pick it up. Is there a chance that we can make something out of this still? No. Ball is cleared. Back to Leask. Okay, it's threatening, but it's not. There's no real end product at the moment. We're not finding that key pass through to Ben Mills to get him that hat-trick. He really has been such a talisman for us this year. It looks like, though, this will be that in terms of the League Cup. We're going to be in through to the semi-final, and 2 games away potentially from a lot of money, and that's certainly something that, assuming we can go up this year, will be very, very helpful, because we are very, very much struggling at the moment money-wise, having done quite a lot of scouting this season to try and find some players to really improve, particularly our defensive unit. And I think we have finally done that now, which might allow me to stop scouting quite so much next season and save a bit more money. But there's full time. 3-1 win, fairly convincing really, despite the sending off. We were already 1-0 up at that point. We were 2-0 up within moments of it, and that clearly was going to be a helpful factor. I'm pretty happy. I think that's a really good performance against a team that was never going to be an easy win, but a win nonetheless. So that is the end of our matches for today. Just to quickly show you the squad at the moment, as I say, it really is improving. We're seeing a lot of people whose last few games have been much better, and therefore the seasons as a whole is looking a lot better than it might have done maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, where a lot of this was still grey, and there were players who really did need to improve. As for the next game, we clearly have a North West League Cup semi-final. We had Aston Burnham earlier in the season, so I probably want to try and avoid them. But my inclination is to go for the semi-final, given how important that's been, and then do another game around it, preferably St Helens or Ashton Town. We have a St Helens Town game quite soon though, and that's a little early for my liking. I think I may have to do that though. I don't think there's any sensible way to do it. I think our next episode we'll skip over those 3 games, but we'll have the St Helens Town game followed by the Northwest Counties League Cup semi-final, and I'm hoping that I will then have after that I will have either the last game of the season or the game in which we can wrap up the title, plus the Northwest Counties League Cup final if we get there. Until next time, this is Greyed Out Man, and hopefully you will join us again for the East Manchester experiment. Good night.